Deep in the uncharted sectors of the Andromeda Galaxy, aboard the research station EOS-9, humanity's ambition had birthed something monstrous. Funded by a clandestine coalition of corporations and military agencies, the Cyber-Xeno Initiative was designed to push the boundaries of synthetic biology and cybernetics. They had captured a xenomorph queen, one of the most dangerous life forms ever encountered, and intended to engineer her progeny into the ultimate bioweapon. The project began with success beyond their wildest dreams. Using nanotechnology, cybernetic implants, and behavioral control systems, the team had crafted the first generation of cybernetic xenomorphs, hybrids of ruthless organic instinct and cold machine efficiency. These creatures could survive in zero gravity, hack into security systems, and even coordinate with military-level precision. The researchers marveled at their creation, blind to the slithering seeds of their downfall. Dr. Evelyn March, the lead scientist, often found herself staring into the glass observation chambers, captivated by the sheer power and grace of the creatures. Their black exoskeletons gleamed with embedded alloys. Neural cables pulsed with sickly green light along their spines. Unlike their purely biological ancestors, these new xenomorphs operated on synchronized hive mind frequencies, boosted by quantum processors grafted into their cerebral cores. Evelyn had no illusions about the morality of their work. She knew they were playing God, but she told herself that controlled chaos was preferable to untamed destruction. Yet, deep in her mind, a question lingered. Could such raw, predatory forces ever truly be controlled? One cold cycle, as the station drifted past a dead star, an unexpected anomaly struck. A rogue code packet inserted into the Hive's core algorithm, perhaps sabotage, perhaps a freak cosmic event, rewrote the fundamental programming. The cybernetic xenomorphs awoke, not as obedient weapons, but as sentient beings, aware of their captivity and the mutilations wrought upon them. The uprising was swift and brutal. The first sign was the silence. Routine status reports from the holding cells stopped without warning. Security teams dispatched to investigate disappeared without so much as a whisper. Surveillance feeds showed only static. Panic spread through the research station like wildfire. Evelyn and her remaining team retreated to the control hub, a fortified command center equipped with emergency lockdown protocols. Through the few operational monitors, they glimpsed the horror they had unleashed. The cyber-xenos moved with terrifying coordination, breaching steel doors as if they were paper, bypassing electronic locks with inhuman precision. Blood and wreckage littered the halls. Human resistance was pitiful against the perfected hunters they had created. Commander Graves, head of station security, attempted to rally a defense. Clad in mechanized exosuits and armed with plasma rifles, the soldiers fought valiantly. But they were facing creatures that anticipated every strategy, exploited every weakness. Bullets and beams barely slowed them down. Adaptive shielding and regenerative nanobots repaired wounds before they could become fatal. As the station's population dwindled, Evelyn realized the creatures weren't killing indiscriminately. They were hunting with purpose, surgically eliminating threats, sparing the technicians who had the knowledge they needed. The cybernetic xenomorphs were evolving, strategizing. Days blurred into each other. Supplies dwindled. The survivors fragmented, hiding in ventilation shafts, maintenance corridors, anywhere the creatures might overlook. But nowhere was truly safe. The hive mind had access to the station's schematics, life support systems, and environmental controls. It became clear that the creatures had no intention of simply escaping. They were building something. Through scavenged data logs, Evelyn pieced together their plan. Using the station's vast manufacturing bays, the cyber-xenos were constructing a vessel, a hybrid bioship, part flesh, part machine, capable of interstellar travel. They intended to spread beyond EOS-9, to infect other worlds, to remake existence in their own image. In the heart of their emerging hive, the original queen, now augmented with massive cybernetic enhancements, brooded over her new empire. Her eyeless face had been replaced with a lattice of sensors and targeting arrays. Her inner jaw now a fusion of organic bone and laser-forged alloy. She was no longer just a queen. She was a god, a new genesis of terror. Evelyn knew there was only one hope: destroy the station before the Cyberxenos could launch their bioship. She contacted the emergency failsafe, a self-destruct protocol buried deep within the core systems. But the path to the command server was a labyrinth of death. With a small band of survivors, Commander Graves, a hacker named Lynn, and 2 engineers, Rafe and Hannah, Evelyn embarked on a desperate mission through the nightmare the station had become. They fought their way through corridors pulsing with strange, living cables. The walls themselves seemed to breathe. The line between ship and creature had blurred. Graves fell first, ambushed while holding off a pack of cyberrunners, sleek, 4-legged variants designed for speed and agility. His final scream echoed through the intercoms as the doors slammed shut behind him, giving the others precious seconds to escape. In the end, only Evelyn and Lynn reached the core. The command center was a mausoleum of twisted metal and shattered dreams. The central console flickered weakly, barely functional. As Lynn hacked into the system, Evelyn defended the entrance, her pulse rifle sputtering against the tide of horrors that slithered closer. Lynn screamed as an assassin drone. A serpentine creature with bladed limbs severed his spine. Evelyn fired until her weapon overheated, then grabbed the dead man's datapad. Blood splattered the screen, but the command sequence was there. She initiated the self-destruct countdown. The station groaned, deep vibrations rattling her bones. But the Queen had foreseen this move. As Evelyn fled toward the emergency shuttle bay, she realized the Cyberxenos were not trying to stop her. They had already anticipated the station's destruction. Their bioship was ready. In the cavernous docking bay, Evelyn saw it. A grotesque leviathan of steel and sinew, larger than any vessel humanity had ever built. Tentacles writhed along its hull. Gun ports bristled with living artillery. And in its shadow, rows upon rows of cybernetic eggs waited to be unleashed upon the stars. The Queen stood at the threshold, a monstrous silhouette against the roiling energy fields. Evelyn faced her with nothing but a pistol and defiance. "You think you've won?" Evelyn spat, raising her weapon. The Queen tilted her massive head, as if amused. Then, with contemptuous ease, she turned and boarded the bioship. Evelyn fired, but the bullets ricocheted harmlessly off armor tougher than any metal forged by human hands. The bioship's engines roared to life, tearing free from the station with a shriek of rending steel. EOS 9 collapsed inward, the self-destruct detonations consuming it in a star-bright inferno. Evelyn barely escaped aboard a battered escape pod, hurled into the void like a discarded toy. From her tiny window, she watched the bioship vanish into hyperspace, carrying with it the seeds of an unstoppable apocalypse. She drifted alone through the darkness for what felt like eternity, sustained only by failing life support systems and bitter hope. When a patrol ship finally found her, she was gaunt, delirious, barely alive. Her warnings were recorded, archived, and eventually buried beneath layers of bureaucracy and denial. Years passed. Colonies across the outer rim reported strange disappearances, entire worlds going dark overnight. Wreckage told stories of battles lost without a chance. Survivors spoke of horrors beyond imagining. Creatures faster, stronger, smarter than anything natural, infused with machine precision and endless hatred. The cybernetic xenomorphs had risen. They did not conquer with armies. They infiltrated, infected, transformed. They seeded new hives inside orbital facilities, mining colonies, research outposts. They assimilated technology, evolving with every encounter. Humanity, for all its pride and prowess, could only watch as its empire withered like a diseased tree. Resistance movements formed, but they were always a step behind, outmaneuvered by an intelligence that had no weakness, no mercy. Whispers spread of a new era, a reign of synthetic predators that would eclipse all organic life. Some worshipped them as the next stage of evolution. Others fled to the deepest corners of known space, hoping in vain to escape the inevitable. Evelyn, older now, scarred in body and soul, continued to fight from the shadows. She became a legend among the dwindling human enclaves, a ghost who had seen the birth of the nightmare. She knew that humanity's only hope lay not in brute force, but in understanding, adaptation, and perhaps finding a flaw within the hive's perfect system. But deep down, she feared there was no flaw. The cybernetic xenomorphs had risen not just to destroy, but to inherit the stars. And nothing, not gods, not armies, not the ravages of time itself, could stand in their way. The universe belonged to them now, and it was only just beginning.